Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Oh, thank you. As the thousands cheer in the background, good evening to everyone across the United States and also around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled, thrill-packed, and yes, it is guaranteed, always exciting edition of the Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus. I am broadcasting from the super secret radio room surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts, in the secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so top secret, only one person. And that is my producer, Diego Reyes. Only he knows where the super secret concrete bunker is located. Everyone else, and especially the Reverend Robert Brzezinski, does not know where the bunker is located. And guess what? We are going to keep it that way. That's so if he gets mad at me that he can't find me. We have a wonderful show for you this evening. Please feel free to interact with us by posting your comments on Facebook and also in StreamYard. And for all my shy people out there, please feel free to contact me. I know sometimes leaving something in the chat's a little intimidating. So please feel free to contact me, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So the purpose of our fireside chat here is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought perspective. So we go ahead and we put the fire on in the fireplace and we go get a cup of cocoa and we sit by the fire and we talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought perspective. And they are my viewpoints and opinions. I just want you to start thinking about the whole idea of oneness and how we play a part in it, and also how we play a part in bringing about a world that does work for everyone. Oh, we have a great guest this evening, no stranger to the New Thought Media Network. Towards the bottom of the hour, we'll be talking with the Reverend Jim Webb, who hosts our Sunday evening program, The Miracle of Prosperity. We'll be talking about the news of the day and also how to survive the holiday seasons. Jim Webb will be our special guest in the second half of the program. Plus, he has some special announcements to tell us. I will leave you in suspense. Well, we're in another holiday shopping season. Have you turned on your radio and found a station with all Christmas music? Why can't they play more modern Christmas music, Diego? Why do they have to always play stuff from the 30s and 40s? I don't know, rather than playing All I Want for Christmas Is You over and over again. Have you done your shopping yet? Diego, have you done your shopping yet for Mercedes? No? You haven't? Have you done for your mom? You got your mom a gift? Okay. How about Winston? Did you get Winston a gift? Wow. Well, you're way ahead of me. I'll tell you what. Hey, are you waiting for that annual bonus check from Reverend Robert? He says, yeah. He's waiting for it. It's not that we're going to get it. We'll have to speak with Robert about our annual bonus check here. So I mentioned the holiday season in jest here because we're supposed to be happy during this time of year. I put that in quotes. And for many people, the holiday season does bring up many issues, many losses of the past year. And for many out there, this may be the first set of holidays without a loved one or friend. And maybe your yearly visit to the family is something that you are not looking forward to. Well, your healthy family is here at New Thought Media Network. We're here to help you throughout the season. So again, we have wonderful resources. If you go to prayer at ntmedia.org, there you can go ahead and you can submit a prayer request. All of our programs are archived on YouTube. So a good resource is a wonderful show called Your Doula for Grief with Bonnie Gonzalez. Yours truly did a show with Bonnie on holiday grief and how to get through it. So that's a wonderful resource. And also, Reverend Laura Topper and I will be celebrating a Hanukkah for All starting on December the 18th. I share this with you because you may feel alone or sad during this season. However, I want you to know that we have your back here at the New Thought Media Network. We are here for you. We love you. We work on helping you not only get through the season, but also to see the joy of the season being the return of the light during the solstice and the return of the remembrance of the birth of Jesus, which again represents the birth of the Christ within us. So lots of good stuff happening here, and we'll talk more with Reverend Jim Webb about that here in a few moments. Let's go to the news here. That's from CNN here. WNBA star Brittany Griner is back in the U.S. after she was released from Russian detention in a prison swap for a convicted arms dealer, Victor Bout. Brittany will soon be back in the arms of her loved ones, and she should have been there all along, said President Joe Biden on Thursday night after securing her release. Despite Biden's various attempts, the swap did not include another American that the U.S. State Department has declared wrongfully detained in Paul Whelan. The choice was either bringing Brittany Griner home right now or to bring no one home. In a story that I hope that we can soon get rid of, and that is talking about COVID-19. Many Americans were relieved when COVID-19 mandates were lifted and the wearing of masks became optional in public spaces instead of required. Now, some of the nation's leading health experts are encouraging people to put their face masks back on as a triple threat of respiratory illnesses, that's flu, RSV, and also COVID, sweeps the nation. Several communities across the country are already considering bringing back certain masking requirements as the wave of respiratory illnesses worsen. I was talking with some of my friends who work in the local children's hospital, and they are well to overflowing there with children with respiratory illnesses. Listen, if you're requested to wear a mask at your church or center function, could you just please honor everyone there and do so? And give yourself the gift of a healthier holiday by consulting with your healthcare professional about getting the COVID boosters and also the flu vaccine. I'm caught up with mine for two reasons. The first one is not to end up in the hospital with one of those ailments. It doesn't mean that I won't, but it means that my chances are less likely to do so. And also the second reason is the welfare and care of others. I may be spiritually advanced, so to say, but how about the people beside me? So again, if they do request masks during the holiday season, again, please, 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 just do it. Please. All right. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 insurrection at the U.S. Capitol is considering criminal referrals for former President Donald Trump and at least 4 of his close allies, the multiple sources have told CNN. The committee has not yet officially decided whom to refer to the Justice Department for prosecution and for what offenses. But these are the 4 individuals who are among those under consideration. That's former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, right-wing lawyer John Eastman, former Justice Department official Jeffrey Clark, and also Trump's former lawyer Rudy Giuliani. Again, our prayers for our country continue here. A wonderful prayer to pray, which is available online, is A Prayer for Our Country by Ernest Holmes. And again, please know with me again, justice and peace in our country. We are here as people who are aware for a special mission. And the special mission is to, again, to shine the light of truth upon this world. So again, use your light. Be the light in the world. A couple of stories that I found very interesting this week. A Virginia restaurant has found itself at the center of controversy after refusing service to a conservative Christian organization over the group's opposition to abortion rights and same-sex marriage. So on November the 31st, Richmond restaurant, Metzger's Bar and Butchery, it canceled a reservation for a private event from the Family Foundation, as first reported by the Virginia Business News. The following day, Metzger's posted about its decision on Instagram, citing the organization's views on abortions and LGBTQ rights as its reason for refusing service. This is what they wrote. In 8 years of service, we have very rarely refused service to anyone who has wished to dine with us. Recently, we refused service to a group that had booked an event with us. After the owners of Metzger's found out it was a group of donors to a political organization that seeks to deprive women and LGBTQ plus persons of their basic human rights in Virginia, they canceled. The restaurant then wrote that management has refused service in the past to anyone who has made the staff feel uncomfortable or unsafe, and saying that this was the driving force behind the decision. Well, of course, then the Family Foundation president, Victoria Cobb, had to go online and give her piece. She said about an hour and a half before the event was scheduled to take place, one of the restaurant owners called our team to cancel the event. As our VP of Operations explained that the guests were arriving at the restaurant shortly, she asked for an explanation. Sure enough, an employee looked up our organization and their wait staff refused to serve us. Now, hold on to your seats as I read this, okay? Get your duct tape out. Tape your head all together so that if your head blows up that you can still find all the pieces, okay? That's why I have the duct tape there. Cobb goes on to compare the situation to the famous 1960 incident where a department store refused service to 34 Virginia Union students because they were black. Ms. Cobb, this is not apples and apples here. All right. He says, welcome to the double standard of the left. And again, writes Cobb, further likening the incident to the case of the Colorado baker that's Jack Phillips. Phillips was the victor of a 2018 Supreme Court case over his refusal to create a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. And later in 2021, Phillips was found to have violated discrimination laws when he refused to bake a birthday cake for a trans woman in Chicago. This incident comes as arguments are being held in another high-profile case over anti-discrimination, free speech, and religious freedom. In the case of 303 Creative LLC and Elenis, the plaintiff in the case is Colorado Lori Smith, an evangelical Christian web designer who refuses to create websites for same-sex couples for their wedding, despite her state's of residence stringent anti-discrimination laws. So Richard Garnett, who's a Notre Dame law school professor, he wrote this: one of the reasons why I think the restaurant story is getting a lot of attention is because it happens to be basically on the same day as the arguments in the Supreme Court about the web designer. And so now for this restaurant story that comes out, Professor Garnett said this. He says, it kind of looks like, whoa, now the tables are turned. Now, Garnett says that the restaurants are governed by public accommodation laws, which stipulate that restaurants are not allowed to deny service based upon certain protected categories like race, sex, religion, and at times sexual orientation, but that's based upon what the local law says. The American Civil Liberties Union says that while there is no federal law that bans discrimination based upon sexual orientation or gender identity in public accommodations like restaurants, theater, and other businesses, there are state and local laws like those in Colorado where this kind of discrimination is banned. On the other hand, Professor Garnett says that discrimination based upon the basis of political beliefs are only protected in a few areas of the United States, including Washington, D.C., but not in Virginia, where this case occurred. Generally speaking, public accommodation laws do not protect people from exclusion on the basis of things like political expression, political affiliation, or political beliefs, says Garnett. But in some jurisdictions, local governments actually have added protections for people's political affiliation. Interesting. So what would have you done in a similar situation? If the restaurant staff had no clue about the organization, what would have happened? They probably wouldn't have had any problems with them, except if the individuals were harassing the restaurant staff. So Metzger's Bar may be facing discrimination charges because their actions are not covered under Virginia law. So what if a group shows up in MAGA hats or wearing anti-abortion t-shirts? Under what conditions can we refuse to provide service to others? And again, as one Supreme Court justice brought up, the web designer case brings up a lot of other issues. Lastly, very quickly, Kirk Cameron whines that libraries refuse his biblical book event while allowing LGBTQ programs. This is from the LGBTQ Nation. Former teen actor and Christian conservative activist Kirk Cameron has a new children's book out. Public libraries are passing on his offer to host a storytime event reading his children's book, As You Grow, which he describes as a book that teaches biblical wisdom. Now, this is what happened. His publisher, Brave Books, goes ahead and contacts 50 libraries, and they all refuse him. And so now Cameron and his publisher are crying foul because that, they allow drag queen story hour, but they're not allowing us with our pro-family and our pro-God values in there. I'm going to tell you the rest of the story here. Brave Books contacted libraries in liberal districts and not in conservative areas. So the backlash is also from libraries, also again hosting drag queen story hours. So what happened this week in North Carolina, where the power lines were tampered with in an area hosting a drag queen reading? Wasn't that terrorist activity? Mr. Cameron probably has never met a family with same-sex parents who are just as loving and supportive as those who do have heterosexual parents. I have. And let me tell you something, those families are absolutely wonderful. And who says that Mary having two mommies or Derek having two daddies, that they don't teach their children about God and also family values? And again, for the record, men have been dressing up in women's clothes for theatrical parts for centuries. And drag queens and homosexuals are not pedophiles or grooming children for sexual gratification. We talked about this last week. So much of the argument that we have about the LGBTQ community comes from, again, misquoted and misunderstood Bible passages about the LGBTQ community. Can we consider the words of Jesus to say, to love one another as I have loved you? All right, so I'm 2 minutes over, Diego. Are you going to take that out of my Christmas bonus? Okay. Well, I did keep it short as possible. Well, hi there. This is the Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and we will have as our special guest here in just a few moments the Reverend Jim Webb, who hosts our prosperity program called The Miracle of Prosperity on Sunday evenings at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain here on your New Thought Media Network. Let's go to announcements, and then we will take a break and then come back with the Reverend Jim Webb. So yours truly is currently parking himself at Summit CSL. For more information, go to summitcsl.org. There and only there. You will find information about our wonderful Sunday gatherings online at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Just people get up early in the morning in California to come to our service live. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, your boba tea. Join us. We do have one of the best services, I believe, in New Thought. And the Sunday, we will have music and message from one of our California musicians who is with us on a regular basis, all the way from Fremont, California. It will be Tim Morrow with us. So go to summitcsl.org for more information on how to join our Zoom call. Our services are also simulcast on our Facebook page. And also, our Facebook page also has past broadcasts of the Fireside Chat and yours truly when he is doing prayer on the New Thought Media Network. All right. So many new programs, so many things that we're going to roll out here in 2023. So just go to ntmedia.org. While they're checking out our schedule, could you please go to our donate page and please give a very generous year-end gift? Because, again, that we have a list of things that we need to get for the season coming up for 2023. We're looking to acquire new cameras. We're looking to acquire new computers. A lot of other things that, again, that we are looking to have here for the up and coming season here. So, again, please help us. This message is getting across to the whole world through this network. And so, again, your support here is greatly appreciated. So if you just go to ntmedia.org/donate, that would be greatly appreciated. And also, it helps to feed Diego. Diego needs food. Yes, he needs a healthy sprout sandwich or something. Okay. Oh no, we have to feed Winston Churchill, the Wonder Pig, and also the mascot here on the New Thought Media Network. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Again, you're in touch with the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And it is my privilege to introduce to you the gentleman whose show I produce on Sunday evenings, The Miracle of Prosperity, all the way from the DC area. It is the Reverend Dr. Jim Webb.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Jim was voted Best Smile of the New Thought Media Network this year. His program on Sunday evenings, we get a lot of views and a lot of interaction. So tell us briefly, Jim, what is the program about, the Miracle of Prosperity? What are some of the topics that you cover there?
We look at prosperity holistically. We look at prosperity as physical prosperity, health, vitality, and balance. We look at prosperity as spiritual prosperity, the peace that passes all understanding and an awareness of love's presence in all ways. We look at financial prosperity, professional prosperity, relationship prosperity. And so we have topics and guests that help us to develop a prosperity consciousness in all those ways. For example, we had a guest recently who taught us how to experience body prosperity. She was not a sex worker, but
Now, okay, Jim, don't get me called into the office on Monday morning. Go ahead. Oh, Diego's going, Go ahead.
She wasn't a sex worker. She was aware of Tantra and the spiritual attributes and the spiritual aspects of body bliss and feeling good. And so she taught us ways to increase our physical comfort. We've had spiritual teachers who taught us how to use spiritual principles to feel good about ourselves no matter what was going on. Ways to develop self-love and an awareness of love's presence in all ways. We are having folks during the holiday season that teach us how to move through the holidays and to do things to pamper ourselves and to prepare for what the holidays may offer, certain stresses, the potential for family issues that have lain dormant for a year, and how to move through that comfortably. So we look at that kind of prosperity as well. We look at professional prosperity. We've had people who talk to us about how to make the most of your professional pursuits. So we look at every aspect of prosperity, and our guests help us to do that because we draw in guests that are experts in many of these areas.
Jim has written a wonderful book. It's called The Soul of Prosperity, which is available on Amazon. You can download it tonight if you have a Kindle app. It's absolutely really just a wonderful book that has us examine all the things that block our natural prosperity that's always there.
Yes.
So The Soul of Prosperity, again, it's been out for a little over a year, but again, it's a great book. If you've never have read it, The Soul of Prosperity, Wisdom, Insights, and Practices to Increase Your Good, a great book. The Kindle price is only $6.99 tonight. What a bargain. So
yes.
download that book and also join us on Sunday evenings. So, Jim, the one thing that I've been hearing and kind of dealing with is people coming into the holiday season thinking that they do not either have enough or they have money concerns or the fear of not having enough. Talk to us and give us some practical things that we can do to overcome financial fear, especially during the holidays.
Okay, let's start with a larger spiritual import of this. Most everything that causes us dissatisfaction in our physical life is based on what I talk about in my book, The Soul of Prosperity, as the perfection paradox. We believe that there is some mythical standard of perfection, and then we believe that we've missed that mark. And so we unconsciously feel guilty, inadequate, and unworthy. And as a result of that, we feel badly. But that mythical standard of perfection is a myth. It's an illusion. It's a projection promulgated by television. It's a projection promulgated by Hollywood. And it's a projection promulgated by those who want you to buy all kinds of stuff. So when we look at it from that perspective, is it any wonder that no matter where we are in life, we may feel pressured by the holidays. We may feel financial pressure, or it may magnify the financial pressure that we already feel ourselves to be under. And so what are some of the practical things that we can do? We can, number one, we can recognize that we're fighting a myth, that we're fighting a paper tiger, and we can accept that our holiday is about love. Our holiday is about recognizing the light within, which costs nothing, and nurturing that light within. It's not about gifts, it's not about stuff, and it's not about how things look. It's about recognizing that no matter where we are, what we're doing, what we have, or what we don't have, there is a light within. Yes, there is a love within. And as we remember that, as we nurture that, and as we celebrate the reemergence of that, despite how dark things may look, we can have hope. So shifting our perspective in that way to understand, what many say, the real reason for the season, which is we can have hope in the midst of what may seem like desolate darkness, for the light has already come and the light will lift us up. So that concept can help us.
And I've told some of my friends, I said, now don't tell this to some of your Christian friends here. I'm going to tell you, again, a little secret that there is a reason why Christmas is a couple of days or a few days away from the 21st, from the winter solstice. And that's because, again, it symbolizes the returning back of the light. Again, Emmanuel, God is with us. So again, as we celebrate with the lighting of the Yule log, some of the other practices that we have again this year, Hanukkah, the Jewish holiday of lights, is right during Christmas time, starting on December the 18th. So we the reason for the season again is the celebration of the return of the light, and no matter how dark it has become, we have our hope in our own inner light, and also the the light of God in and through other people, that it will burst forth. The daylight will come back.
Yes.
Even though, again, at 5 o'clock, it's dark as midnight, but again, that we have that eternal hope. See, and that's the meaning of the holidays. It's
Yes.
not all the stuff, and it's not, if you ask your kids in 20 years, they're going to forget all the stuff that you got them for Christmas. But what did you do with your children? What did you do with your family? Where did you take them? Did you take them to a special lighting celebration? Did you take them? Do you have something that you do every Christmas, like Christmas Eve service? See, those are the things that your kids are going to remember. They're not going to remember all the stuff that you get them, because again, the stuff is, when you see these kids go through, and I've seen them, they get these packages, and they speed unwrap them, and then they go ahead and they take a look at it and then put it down and forget about it. So that's not the true meaning of the holidays. So Jim, how do we, I know several of my friends are going through the holidays. This is the first holiday without a loved one. Loved one has passed during this year. I know that you and I experienced loss with the loss of our friend, the Reverend Dr. Charlotte Manning. She's not with us this Christmas. So I'm feeling personally a little sad about that. So how do we manage it? How do we get through the first Christmas? How do we go ahead and just work through the sadness during this time?
The first thing we do to work through the sadness of missing a loved one at Christmas, give ourselves permission to feel what we feel. We do not have to force gaiety. We do not have to force ourselves into a mold of what Christmas is supposed to look like. We can give ourselves permission in our safe space of prayer, meditation, and healing to feel exactly what we feel. And when we feel that, and we talk to God and say, God, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling alone. I'm feeling that things are not like they were. And there is a part of me that misses the love of that person. The presence of love will fill that void within us. The presence of love will wrap its energy around us, and we can breathe in that energy of love. And we can feel the comfort of that. And then the next thing that may happen is that we may realize, what is it that causes us to cry? It's that we miss a certain aspect of love. And so then we may ask ourselves, what was that aspect of love? And when we bring that aspect of love to mind that we miss, that loved one reminds us of, we might get a smile on our face. Yeah. Because what we're doing is bringing the energy of that aspect of love back to us. And we realize that person is gone, but the energy of that aspect of love is with us always. Because the source of all love is with us, regardless of whether a certain symbol or conduit for this love is with us or not. And that is one of the many ways we can have peace when we are missing a loved one.
We are talking with this evening the host of our Sunday evening prosperity program called The Miracle of Prosperity, all the way from the DC area. It's Reverend Jim Webb. Again, he has a wonderful book out called The Soul of Prosperity, which you can purchase on Kindle. And here we are. I'm going to let you tell everyone in the world two, not one, but two special offers that you are offering everyone out there.
Yes.
Holiday season. Go ahead.
Yes. First of all, I have a new book. Yay! In addition to the ebook and the audio book of The Soul of Prosperity, there's a new entrant to the stable, and that is Prosperity from A to Z, a brief guide to prosperity practices and principles. And what this is a 40-page ebook that's quite simple. Every letter of the alphabet is either a prosperity practice or a prosperity principle that you can use every day. For example, A is for abundance, and it teaches us how to continually maintain a consciousness of abundance as opposed to slipping into a consciousness of lack. I don't have enough this, there isn't enough that, which causes us to slip into worry, which causes us to create the lack that we fear. But if we can stay in abundance, we continue to allow and generate an abundance of all things. So prosperity from A to Z, there's a prosperity principle or a prosperity practice for everything. And people ask me then, well, Jim, what is the Z for?
I was going to ask you that. Go ahead.
The Z is all of the above, because these are dynamic. We can use them all regularly. We can use them all together to maintain a consciousness of prosperity. And when you maintain a consciousness of prosperity, you actually draw that prosperity to you in all ways, not just money and stuff, but relationship prosperity, physical and logistical prosperity, professional prosperity, and spiritual prosperity.
So again, if you're experiencing lack in any of those areas, again, that the truth about it is that there is an abundance, and that the focus needs to start being towards, again, the truth about you, which is, again, that you are a spiritual, prosperous being here. And again, that all that the Father hath is yours. That's from the New Testament. All that the Father, Mother hath is yours. And so, so what Jim's book is, and his ministry does, is, again, to peel away those levels of doubt, those levels of fear, those levels that really that do block prosperity. So, Reverend Jim, let's say I have a group of beliefs that I notice when I'm in financial fear. For example, like money is hard to get, or you have to work hard for the money. Talk to us about how we can overcome those beliefs.
Yes. The first thing we can do is to look at those beliefs and where they began. And they probably began as a child when your parent told you money doesn't grow on trees. So what can we do? Well, one of the simple things we can do is look at the trees in the spring. Seemingly from nowhere, these trees sprout millions of leaves on your way to work. You might count 10 million leaves on trees, and between February and April, they've come out from nowhere, from the seeming barrenness of nothingness. And then you think, wait a minute, I learned that money doesn't grow on trees, but money is made of paper, and paper comes from trees. And what this does is it shifts your mind from a deeply embedded belief in lack to a clearly visceral and observational experience of abundance.
Yes.
And when you open your mind to abundance in that way, the energy of abundance attracts abundance.
Yes.
And that's one of the ways that you can heal old beliefs and old patternings, because there is no one, and this is hard for some of us to really grasp, but there is no one or no thing withholding from us but ourselves.
Yes.
If we believe in lack, what we believe is what we see. What we see is what we get.
Right.
We believe in lack, we see lack. If we see lack, we get lack. But if we believe in abundance, if we believe in our deservingness, if we believe in the infinite source, and that infinite source works on our behalf and in our favor, and its will for us is an abundance of all things good, we can allow that energy, that flow, that consciousness, and therefore we can allow the manifestation of all that good. all those ways.
If you're wondering what you're watching this evening, this is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael, and we have with us this evening, we have Reverend Jim Webb, who has one of the most popular shows on our network, which is the Miracle of Prosperity, which is live every Sunday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Again, it's a great show. We have a lot of individuals who get on, and we have a very interactive show. They ask questions to our guests. Name some of the guests that we've had over the past few months. We've had some really wonderful A-listers. So go ahead.
Yes. We've had Ian Levanzant.
Yes.
We've had Susan Shumsky. Wasn't she one of your favorites?
I hope I didn't frighten her off, because
you were the perfect fanboy for her.
I fanboyed all over her. Go ahead. Who else did we have?
We've had Ian Levanzant. We've had Susan Shumsky. We've had Reverend Daniel Newsom. We've had Joel Fotinos, who is the senior editor of Penguin Books, and he's the conservator of all of the Think and Grow Rich books.
Yes.
We've had Reverend Daniel Newsom, who's a noted luminary. We've had one of our favorite guests, Edward Miller.
Ed's been on a few times.
Yes, he's the author of Soul Power. He's an expert on Ho'oponopono. And my favorite guest of our show has been our audience. The questions they ask and the interaction that they trigger. And anyone can be a part of that audience by watching the show, asking questions, and interacting with us.
Yeah, one of my favorite shows was when we had our guests, when we had some of the audience come on and share with them some very personal problems and issues that they were having. And you were able to give them counsel and guidance during that time. So again, it's a great show. If you've never watched it, again, you say, well, Michael, I'm busy on Sunday evenings. Well, it's on YouTube. You can go
there forever.
It's there forever. If you go on the New Thought Media Network YouTube page, you'll see all the programs. Again, there's the Susan Shumsky was absolutely wonderful. She is probably one of my sheroes. She has written several books on affirmative prayer. Her books now are out. She has a current book out about the influence of India upon the Beatles.
Yes.
So that's the current book. So again, we have some A-list people on, again, all to bring forth that prosperity that is already in you. So talk to us, Reverend Jim, about, we hear on the news, we hear on the media about this prosperity gospel that is taught by the evangelist on TV. Talk to us about the difference between New Thought prosperity teaching and the prosperity gospel.
Yes. The prosperity gospel tends to focus on money and stuff, and it tends to focus on money and stuff flowing to the evangelist. But in New Thought, we look at prosperity not as money and stuff, but we look at prosperity as our inner consciousness.
Yes.
That attracts all things good to us and attracts us to all things good. And so we cultivate that inner consciousness of love, that inner consciousness of deservingness, that inner consciousness of peace, that inner consciousness of joy. And if that inner consciousness or that inner vibration that we cultivate becomes who we are, because we remember that we are one with the spirit of all those things, then it is inevitable that we are drawn to things that bring us peace and things that bring us joy and all of the good things that our hearts desire, because we remember that we are one with the energy of love that wills that for us. And my show, The Miracle of Prosperity, helps us to understand this through the context of A Course in Miracles, which says that God's will for us is perfect happiness, and God, being love, is perfect happiness. So when we remember that God is with us always, and we recognize that God is simply love within us, and when we understand that that God energy is within us as us and manifests through us, that's when we co-create with God all the good that God wills, that we will as well.
And also understand that when we teach prosperity in our centers, is that it is the reason we teach it. Again, there is a giving portion. Yes, we do teach conscious giving, but we also, again, teach conscious receiving. If you're not being prospered by the teaching, there again, there is good in the world, and I ought to have it. Thank you, Wayne. That's right from Ernest Holmes.
Yes.
And so if the prosperity teaching is just, gimme, just, send your tithe in, that's only a portion of it. Again, the reason.
It's a flow.
Yes.
It's a flow.
It's a flow. And the reason that people, again, that they'll say, well, why don't we prosper? It's because that you are not challenging the beliefs and the other things that are there also for you to prosper. So yes, you have a flow going again with your giving. But that's only a portion of it. Again, a lot of it, a lot of what we have been talking about this evening, and also on the show on Sunday evenings, is removing those blocks to our natural prosperity that's already in us and through us. So, Jim, you did not mention the second surprise this evening.
Yes. I've been waiting. I've got a new set of classes in January.
Yes.
Yes. On Monday nights, beginning January 16th. I hope I've got that date right. I'm doing Spirit Speaks on your personal prosperity prescription. What we've been saying is that you've got some programming in your mind that either accepts prosperity or rejects prosperity. Just like Santa knows when you're sleeping and knows when you're awake, Spirit knows what's in your mind. Spirit knows what in your mind has been conditioned to block prosperity. And Spirit can see around the corners that we can't. So what you will get from Spirit in this class is you will get your personal prosperity prescription. These are the blockages that exist in your unconscious mind. These are the things that you can do to address these blockages. These are the hidden opportunities that await you. These are the things around the corner that you cannot see, that you can avoid. And so it's your personal prosperity prescription. So you get not only that prescription, but you get prayers, you get affirmations, you get a healing work. And the beautiful thing about this is it's on Zoom. So no matter where you are, you can access it. And if you aren't available physically, we will send you the recording. And the recordings are just powerful because you get not only your stuff, but you see everybody else's stuff, and you can learn from their consciousness and their evolution as well.
That is the one thing I've been very impressed by is, again, I've been in some of Jim's classes, and it's not only the wonderful teaching that Jim Webb does during the class, but also the individuals and the people are really of a very awakened consciousness. And again, that they're on the path too. Again, I don't go, I kind of say, when people say, well, we're of a higher consciousness, well, higher does not mean, better. The whole idea is that we're becoming more awakened to what is in us already. So if people want to get a hold of you to register for this wonderful class here, Jim, how do they do that?
They can hit me on my website, www.revjimwebb.com. And there's, I capture you when you're there. Before you leave, I ask you for your email address. And that way, and this is what you get. When you give me your email address, You get some powerful prayers. You get some powerful meditations. And I give you a gift each week. Some of those gifts, people told me, have changed their lives. They're gifts like a 3-minute prayer that helps them see things from a totally different perspective. They're gifts like a meditation that heals something deep within their soul that they've been wrestling with for 20 years. And so I get your email address, but you get a gift every week. And you can just contact me. You can also send me an email through the website and say, I want to register, and I'll work out the rest with you.
Yeah, and again, if you have not checked out the program on Sunday evening, please do so. The program is absolutely wonderful. So what are some of the topics that we're going to be talking about during December, Reverend Jim?
During December, the overarching theme is hope for the holidays. This Sunday night, we've got an expert in self-care, because physical prosperity and mental and emotional prosperity during the holidays is extremely important because of the stresses that we talked about in the beginning of the show. So we're going to look at some ways that we can provide ourselves with self-care during the holidays to buttress us against some of the pressures of the holidays. Next week, we're going to do Hope for the Holidays Part 2, how we can attain a spiritual consciousness that can help us through some of the holiday pitfalls, like family issues that may have gone dormant for a year, the depression that some may feel over the holidays. And we've got a spiritual expert on healing to heal some of those things so we can get through the spiritual challenges of the holidays.
So again, please check out the show here on Sunday evenings. Go to Amazon, buy the books, buy all the cool stuff that Jim Webb has put out. It is The Miracle of Prosperity on Sunday evenings is one of the most popular programs on our network. So find out why. Go to, again, join us here on Sunday evenings here at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain. Jim Webb, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for letting me produce your show. Thank you for letting me intern and learn how to do StreamYard better.
Lord knows I've given you some challenges.
Thank you so very much, Jim. Thank you. Really appreciate
so
you.
much, my
Best of the holidays for you and your family.
God bless you.
God bless. Okay, hey, time for us to go. Man, the hour goes by quick. Again, we're here for you, prayer@ntmedia.org. And also, please check out our website, ntmedia.org. We have just so much programming here. We're here for you. We love you. Our whole staff, again, is dedicated to changing your life through this powerful teaching. So on behalf of myself and Diego Reyes, my producer, and also the Reverend Jim Webb, I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and I'm wishing you a wonderful week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.